Hi, welcome to Jeffida International. So how are you feeling today? Now that's a good question I like to ask you, because right now we are all feeling, we can't even describe how we're feeling. I mean, these are really weird times. These are what they call unprecedented times, when nothing is like you've known before. We are in what they call a lockdown. So now what people are doing, pick up your phone someone you know, someone you love, and simply ask, how are you doing? That little phone call, that little email, that little text message, that WhatsApp message, that Facebook message, whatever format you want to use to reach out to people that you know and love, do it. Because right now, apparently, because of this lockdown, there's a huge mental issues going on. Why? Because we humans, we are social beings, and that means we interact with each other, we connect with each other. And so now that there's this sudden, don't interact with anybody, don't contact anybody, stay away from everyone, we're suddenly feeling it. We're feeling the pain. Hence the mental problem. Mental, because now all your thoughts, you want to chat with your friend and just have a laugh and giggle, all of that staying in your head. You're just thinking to yourself, what if, what if, what if? But that's not the reason I'm here today. The reason I'm here is seriously about the lockdown. But there's a bigger message behind this lockdown for me. My message is, do not, that's the topic of this video. Simply, it's about refuse to let your mind be controlled. Refuse to let your mind be controlled. So what I'm basically saying is, refuse to let your mind be locked down. I mean, lockdown now is a new word that's suddenly exciting to all of us. I watched a video recently, and someone was talking about those of us who are sitting at home. Yes, we are sitting at home, but we're not eating everything we find. It was funny. I was like, okay, make sure you take a picture of before and after lockdown, because there's going to be a big difference. Why? Because now you're stuck in the house, so you just want to eat. Everything you see, you want to put in your mouth. And so he's saying, now, just because they say lockdown doesn't mean you shouldn't lock down your mouth. So he's saying lock down the mouth. I found it funny. But that's the thing. So, because they've said lockdown, which is stay at home, that doesn't mean your mind should be locked down. So you see where I was getting to. So for me, lockdown does not mean lock down your mind. So refuse to let your mind be controlled. Because depending on what side of this whole thing you stand, we've been told, reading from so many sources, there's a lot of confusion right now. We don't know how real this thing is, this problem out there is. Yes, there is a problem, but we don't know how heavy it is. And now we've been told to be locked down. So what's happening is, it's caused a lot of problems. It's caused a lot of problems. Now, some people are thinking we are locked down for reasons best known to the people who caused the problem. So when they say, the authorities, this is their angle, we want you to be locked down because it's safer for you. Don't get in touch with anybody because it's safer for you. It is in your interest you're being locked down. That's what you're going to hear from every quarters, on the official side. But on the non-official side, the side I love to take, for reasons they never tell you as it is, from the official side, they are saying, in whose interest is this lockdown? In whose interest? Now there's a problem. The problem is, it's created so much panic out there, so much uncertainty. People are losing their jobs, businesses are breaking down, oil prices have crashed, nations are struggling to pay their debt. There's so much confusion right now. According to some people, even the people who created the confusion, they did not anticipate some of the problems that are happening right now. I mean, can you imagine the world being locked down? This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. The financial implication of this, the economic implication, the social implication, the mental implication, it is just too much for us to even begin to understand. I mean, books and books and books will be written about this in years to come. And generations to come will be looking back at this and wondering, how did this happen? But why I decided to come here today is because lots of us are mistaking this lockdown, lock your door, don't go out, don't interact, don't socialize, 2 meters apart, 6 meters apart, whatever it is, we are mistaking it to be, oh, my life is done. Oh, that's it. Let me sit at home and cry myself to sleep or die in self-pity or wonder what's going to happen next, or this is the end of the world as it is. And so we're beginning to forget that we are bigger than whatever the situation is. That's why I'm bringing this video. Your lockdown doesn't mean your mind is locked down. Your mind is not locked down. Interesting thing about the mind is no human being can access your mind. You know when they say there's no way of knowing what's in a human being's mind. There's no art to find the description or direction or whatever is in the mind. And that's why people can fake any situation. Because what's going on in your mind, no human being has access to it. That is the one good thing about the human mind and the human being. God who created us is the only owner of our mind. And yourself. Because you know what's going on. But nobody else. You cannot look at me now and say, oh, I know what's in your mind. You know, you get people who pretend that they can read minds. You get people who say, bring your hand, let me look at it, I can tell you your future. So all of that is just whatever it is. It isn't real. Only you know what's in your mind. And so just because they've said, lock the door, don't go out, doesn't mean your mind has been locked up. You can still take control of your mind. You can decide what you want to do. Now the difference is you cannot just up and say, oh yeah, let me go to the shops. Like, well, you can still go to the shops, but some things they claim are not essential enough, and so you cannot go and say, I mean, we just moved house and we haven't been able to buy furniture as we would have done normally. But luckily, we're able to bring a few things with us, and so we're acting in, you know, a semblance of normalcy. But that's the kind of thing I mean by you will not be able to do the other things that you normally would do. But that hasn't stopped me from coming to you to chat with you about what's going on. It hasn't stopped me from waking up in the morning and putting my makeup on if I feel like it, or, you know, there I am right now, I have 2 computers in front of me. I got my laptop, tablet right here. I got my phone here. I got books in front of me, I'm reading. I got my schoolwork sitting right there. So it's like you have to find a way to inspire yourself to carry on with your life. That's a big message here. Because just for the fact that they said don't go out and as you would normally do, doesn't mean you cannot walk around your own house or walk around your neighborhood, or, you know, like they say, you can go out to the park and play. You can get the kids on the bike and let them ride around, depending on where you are. I know different countries have different ways of looking at this. But here in the UK, you can carry on with this kind of basic lifestyle. But the bigger picture here is your mind. No one has the key to your mind. No one can lock your mind down. Only you can do that. I mean, there's a book that's quite interesting on that. It's this book called Man's Search for Meaning. Man's Search for Meaning. And something about him made me remember coming to give this talk today. This man was locked up in Nazi concentration camp, and all the history we've read, all the stories we've heard about this time when Hitler was doing what he was doing in Germany to the Jews, they are so beyond imagination, gross, what they were doing to human beings. But he was in that camp and he survived it. And he lived to tell the tale. And his tale was, he realized that there was one place no one could access in his life, and that was his mind. And so what he decided to do was allow whatever was happening on the outside happen, while he knew that he was in control of his mind. I mean, this is another scenario where you see, when people go to prison, that's another example, Nelson Mandela, when he was in prison. He was in prison for, I think, about 23 or 26 years, I can't remember exactly, but over 20 years. And he came out normal. And when people were interviewing him, and he said, the place that he retreated back to was his mind. And that helped him to cope. So if we have instances like this, that tends to tell us what people have been through. There have been rougher times in our lives, rougher times. It's like my personal experience when I moved here in the UK from Nigeria. I mean, back in Nigeria, I had an amazing life at the time I was in Nigeria. I know things have changed and things have gone crazy, but trust me, for those of you who don't know anything about Nigeria, people have this imagination that it's not a lovely place. Trust me, it's all stories. It is an absolutely beautiful place. Whatever problems we have in Nigeria are not God-made. They are man-made. All the confusion going on in Nigeria are man-made. I mean, there was a time we took a cab somewhere, and this man actually said, oh, my brother-in-law was working in Nigeria, but I never really did ask him what it was like in that country. Do you guys have flats that you live in? And we were like, I mean, I've had people think that people live on trees in Africa, but that was one of those examples. Somebody actually did ask me, do you people speak English in Nigeria? Where did you learn to speak English? So all of that is rubbish. But the main story here is, I had gone through decent life at some stage in Nigeria, and then I moved here, and everything went to zero. Because you got into a new environment and you have to find your feet. It was a struggle. And what I then did, just like the stories of people I just talked about, this man in concentration camp and Nelson Mandela, I was physically, because the first flat I moved into was so small. And this is me who lived in a huge flat in Nigeria, you know, it was endless. Furniture all over the place, amazing things here and there, potted plants here and there, you know, looking beautiful. I could set things well. And now I'm in this room that if I just put my hand up, I could touch both sides of the wall. And now I'm asking myself, so why did I leave my beautiful home and come here? I don't know why. But you see, this is how God make things happen sometimes. I've looked back, I've taken my time to retrieve my journey, and there was a reason for me coming here, to gain knowledge, to gain experience, to see a different side to life, to hear or to experience something different from what I was experiencing. And so what I went through that period was allow my mind to stay intact and carry on normal, while my physical environment was basically trying to drain me. This is what most of us deal with in this life. We allow the physical environment affect our mind. That's the message I'm trying to share. Don't let that happen to you. Yes, things are rough right now. They're different from what you used to know. But don't let it get to you. Allow your mind to stay in control. And there's so many things you can do to help yourself. Wake up early enough in the day. Have a plan for your day. Have a plan. Because the reason I'm sharing this message with you is I experienced it as well. The early days when this whole thing started, I was confused. I thought, okay, what do I do now? And then, you know, the physical thing that happens when you feel, oh yeah, there's nothing to do. I might as well think I'm on holiday. I actually thought I was on holiday. And I was just waking up when I like and go to sleep when I like. And we were watching movies, and 2 a.m. we're still awake watching movies. And then we probably go to sleep about 4 a.m. and by the time we wake up the next day, it's about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I start asking myself, what's going on? This is not life. This is not. So they put this artificial thing out there telling you lockdown, and you are locking yourself down. That's a question I asked myself. And then I had to realize that, you know what, no, this is not on. Enough of these movies, enough of this sitting up late all night, and go back to your usual routine. And that's what I decided to do. So now I've got assignments to do, I've got things to do. I wake up and I get on with my life. Because this is what is interesting. I love talking spiritual, which is what I know is important in all of us. Now, we each have a message that God had put through all of us on this earth. And that message has to be delivered while we're here on earth, because there is no point taking that message back to your God who created you and sent you to earth. So you have something in you that you need to do on this earth. Whether you like it or not, you need to go back into yourself and find that thing. And most times when I come here and chat with you, I am sharing my message. I'm sharing the message I've been given. I know that. And so when you know you have to keep doing something, and there's something in you to do, you don't say, let me wait. When they finish the lockdown, then I do it. No, you don't do that. Because this is the interesting part. God is not going to say to you, oh, I understand my daughter. I understand my son. I understand there was a lockdown, so that's why you couldn't do what you needed to do. Okay, don't worry. I'm going to add another 50 days to your life. I'm going to add another 10 months to your life. I'm going to add another 5 years to your life. No! None of that will happen. For all of us that have been created, there's a beginning and there's an end. I say this every day in my videos. There's a beginning, there's an end. And all that goes on in between. So if we are wasting our in-between because we've been given a lockdown by man, we can't face God and say, the reason I couldn't do what you asked me to do is because there was a lockdown. So that's the big message. And then probably you'll be saying, okay, so how do I go about carrying on my duties then if? There's so many ways. I mean, while in one hand they're thinking they've messed us up, in another hand they've not messed us up. Why? Because there are alternatives. I mean, in the past, our great-grandparents never had this option of coming to talk to the world on a camera. I've seen on WhatsApp all this message that's, gone viral, that people are now aware. Because I was watching a video once where somebody said, this is the best time to be alive. Why? Because now we've gotten to another level of humanity where we are becoming more aware. Do you see what that brings? We are becoming more aware. These things they're doing now in the past could have been done, which is probably why there have been so many other pandemics that no one queried and everyone just accepted it. What is going on now could have happened in the past and no one would have been any wiser. But now everyone is wise. Everyone is wise. I've seen videos where, people are saying, oh yeah, there's going to be vaccination. And I'm saying, I will not take that vaccination. Because in the past, when they were giving people all this vaccination, people never really knew what it meant. They didn't know what was in it. I mean, for illnesses that there are solutions in nature, why would you rather have something in a needle? Why would you choose someone to inject something into you when there are so many other things you could try? So that's where we are. This is the time to capitalize on the things available. This YouTube, just like I'm doing, share your message to the world. This Facebook, people were using their little phones, their phones, smartphones, all of them are smartphones. Apparently, the technology in the smartphones are as good as the technology they used in those days to go to the moon. So that little thing you hold in your hand is not ordinary. We're talking 4G, 5G. Well, they're talking about the 5G now. Let's not go there yet, because they reckon that's what's causing the problem. But we have 3G, we have 4G, we have 2G, 1G. All these G's are what's creating the smartness in these phones, in the tablets. And that's why we can sit here and chat and talk and do all the live this and live that and be anywhere in the world and people see you. That's how all these messages were coming out. That's how people knew that the Africans in China were being beaten and chased out of their houses. We would never have known if it wasn't for today with technology. We would never have known that they are planning something to put in the vaccine that they were going to give to us. We would happily have climbed on that queue and say, give it to me first. We would not have known that there are so many conspiracy and cover-ups and pretentious governments all over the place. We would never have known. But now with technology, we know these things. So use this opportunity of technology and carry on your life. That's the message. Carry on your life. Don't lock yourself down. Use your Facebook to pick up skills. Learn things. There are lots of videos on Facebook. I mean, it's like a rabbit hole. Once you go into these things, there is no end to what you are going to find. Whatever takes your interest, go in there and look for it. Same thing on Instagram. There are videos upon videos, makeup videos, and hair videos, people dancing videos, people doing cooking videos. There are videos on everything on social media. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it, they are there. So what excuse do we have to say we don't want to, participate? What excuse? I know in the past, before this lockdown thing happened, people were, oh, I would never go on social media. I don't want to hear about it. That's not my kind of thing. No, I'm too old to. No, you're not too old. You're not too old. Anyone can be part of it. This is the time, this is now the opportunity. As you're sitting at home, not doing anything, or even if you're doing something, create time, join them. You know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. Join them. Because this is the direction things are going. I mean, right now, none of us know how long this thing's going to be. And then what's going to happen? You're going to tell yourself that excuse. The only reason I couldn't do anything is because I didn't know how to get onto computer, or I don't know how to get onto YouTube or Facebook or whatever. No, don't give yourself that excuse. Don't lock yourself up. Get up and get on with your life. Open your mind. Take up a new skill. Wake up in the morning, listen to music. Music that you enjoy, that's what I do. Whatever music I want to hear, I put it on. My state of mind is so excited. I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I get on with it. So that's what you need to do. Listen to your music. Watch your favorite programs. Watch a movie as well if that's what's going to wake you up. Go out for a walk. Because they say we can, as long as you're social distancing. Go into the park. Go with the kids. Get fresh air. This is just, the message is there's so many options. And let's not hide behind this thing happening and disappear into a mental world that begins to destroy us. Because what we don't want to hear is, oh yeah, because this thing happened, I started talking to myself and then I lost it. That's not what we want to hear. We want to hear that this thing happened, or it gave you an opportunity to look into yourself again. And then you realize that there were so many things you could do. And hey, now there was a time on my hands, so I started doing them. And look at where I am now. Now I have skills that I didn't know I could have. That's where the message is. So I really want us to be very, very open to what's going on, in the sense of we're going to refuse that they should lock us down mentally. And we're going to look inwards. And we're going to start looking at what we can bring on the table. We're going to bring out that message that God gave us, and we're going to share it with the world. And we're going to carry on with our lives. Okay, so before I finish now, we know that this whole lockdown thing essentially comes down to control. And we don't know how far their plan is to control us, but what we are individually going to do is to open up our mind, which no one can access, and we are going to find alternatives, different ways of being independent, different ways of remaining who we are, different ways of staying, what's the word? Staying sane, staying healthy, staying normal. Yes, physically things may have changed, but deep down in us, we still know who we are. And we are going to find ways to work around this. Because the most important thing, which I always remind myself as well, is God, my creator, knows why he created me. And if he wanted me locked up in a house, he would have found a way to do that. We are free beings. We're social beings. But if whatever it is that's happened has caused this problem and has created the scenario where we're in now, what we should not do is allow it to take us down. What we should not do is allow it to make us downbeat, allow us to become sad, allow us to become angry. Because once that happens, our spirit starts to go downhill with it. But lift your spirit up, which I've explained all various ways we can do it. And then continue in your journey of life. Continue to stay upbeat, continue to stay positive, continue to have a focus, continue to know what you want, continue to know where you're going, and it will all come to an end. This too shall pass. And like this man said, that experience will come and go, and then it'll be something you talk about at some point. But what you don't want is let that experience take you with it, and then you don't live to tell the tale. I want all of us to live to tell this tale. So I'm praying for everyone, and I'm praying God to bless and continue to guide us and support us on this journey. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you as always.